Welcome to the weekly interruption. You know, at church, our prayer list has kind of went from a list to a book, almost a short novel. Had a lot of things going on. We had a lot of things, everything from accidents to sickness to loss of loved ones, hard times, financial distress. There's just been an awful lot of things going on. But in every season of life, we can always turn to the Bible for a guiding light. There are Bible verses about love. There's verses about encouragement. And when hard times make us feel weak or depleted, there are Bible verses about strength that can heal and fortify our souls. You know, 2 Corinthians 12:9 says, "My grace is all you need, for my power is the greatest when you are weak." Philippians 4:13 says, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." And those are great Bible verses. They're true. They're accurate. But you know, we can read an awful lot of scriptures, but when we're going through that hard time, it's just words on a page. It falls on our deaf ears. You know, when we're going through that tough time and nothing else can come into our mind, it's like, no, I'm focusing on what's going on with a loved one or with a friend or something else. We just can't seem to get past that to read what the scripture says to us. It's really tough. At our church, our pastor, Brother Dan, has been doing a comparison of Joseph and Jesus, and he's been kind of laying out all the details that how they mirror each other. It made me think for a minute, like, you know what? How about you? Or how about us? Because we are the church, we are a group, we are one. You know, how are we doing? Are we being imitators of Christ? Do we mirror Christ? You know, Jesus definitely had some hard times. If you think about it, he lost some people he was very close to that made him very sad. You know, he was hated. He was persecuted. Terrible to say, but his frustration with his followers, you know, haven't we all felt that when we're trying to teach people how to do the right thing or a lesson that would make their life better so that they could do things in a better way? He got frustrated with his disciples quite often because they just didn't get it. You know, so if it wasn't easy for the Son of God, then what makes us think it's going to be easy for us? When we mirror Christ, we should be humble and loving, forgiving, compassionate, kind, honest, etc., etc., etc. We also need to mirror Christ by remembering that we were created by God to glorify God. We need to remember our hard times are temporary. The joy that we want to feel, that really good feeling that we can just run about and frolic and play, as they say, there's some times that we just can't get that. We're so focused on the hard times, we can't read the scripture because it's just words on a page. It doesn't make sense. It don't jump off the page and grip us like it should. Because Christ came to give us eternal joy that will last forever. We got to look at it in that perspective. We're temporary. I mean, it's just such a short time here on earth, and we're going to go through hard times. But he came to give us permanent joy for the rest of our lives, for eternity. Big picture, eternity. Small picture here. Very simple. I can say that most of the time I can't do that, especially when hard times come along with my family and things that we went through. I'm sure the same thing happens with you guys. You know, think about it. I'm sure the Israelites had doubts while wandering in the desert. If you think about that for just a second, how long did they wander through the desert? Over 40 years. You know, and I'm sure they had doubts and were frustrated, and all the things that happened that went on at that time. You know, God will strengthen us again. You know, the chapter 40 of Isaiah is about God sending his prophet. He wanted him to go in there and say, "Comfort my people. Comfort them. Show them that everything is going to be okay." He gave his word to them again, like he's given us his word in his Bible. But the chapter is all about that. But I'm going to read Isaiah chapter 40. I'm going to start in verse 27, go through 31. O Jacob, O Israel, how can you say that the Lord doesn't see your troubles and isn't being fair? Don't you yet understand? Don't you know by now that the everlasting God, the creator of the farthest parts of the earth, who never grows faint or weary? No one can fathom the depths of his understanding. He gives power to the tired and worn out, and strength to the weak. Even the youth shall be exhausted, and the young men will all give up. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. He also showed us that we should not give up. He came to teach us. He came to show us. And everything that he went through, we go through as well. But the one thing that he did tell us and show us is that be faithful to the end, because there is a reward we can't even imagine awaiting us. Remember, Jesus is the reason for the season. Merry Christmas.